The most racist people on paternity court.
He handed me the baby and he looked at me. He said, "Are you sure this baby's yours?" And I looked at the doctor. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because this baby's white."
Your Honor, I just had a child and the baby looks nothing like Kaden. My baby looks like me.
Now, according to Mr. Barlow, baby Jabril didn't look like his other kids, and that was sufficient evidence to doubt paternity. By which he means that he wasn't present at the time of conception and that his almost Hispanic child was not his, but their landlord's.
Ms. Winslow, you stand in court stating that Mr. Barlow is your son's biological father, but also say if he's not, there's a good reason for it.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Barlow, tell us why you doubt Jabril.
Your Honor, I doubt these things due to the fact that during the time of Jabril's conception, I was away.
Apparently, the guy suspected his girl had been cheating on him. He thought he was being played like a fiddle. Whenever he called home, his girl wasn't alone. The plot thickened, and the doubts started peering through. And we're here for it. Let's go!
I got a long history of infidelity.
A very long history.
And so I left. When I went away, she said payback's a straight leg.
Let's use appropriate
That's
language.
exactly what she
I
said.
never stated that, Your Honor.
So
he comes
now,
up with
I go away.
I've never stated
and
that.
while I'm away, I'm calling and stuff.
Next up, let's get to the too friendly landlord part. Mr. Barlow wasn't clearly a fan of the situation. Well, who would be? However, Miss Winslow went ahead and justified her behavior. Good for her.
He doesn't have a hired contractor. He's doing everything himself. So if he has to come at 10 o'clock at night to fix some water that's leaking from my roof with 3 children in my house, then that's what he's gonna do.
Mr. Barlow said he was there
All
fixing
the
some
way.
beds.
Okay, now, when I'm in the house, I'm pregnant.
Oh man, the baby daddy wasn't backing down. His only mission was to incriminate the woman in any way possible. He clearly couldn't wait to get rid of her and the baby. Toxic much? Please, someone put some tape over this dude's mouth. Please? He'd been fixated on this one landlord for quite some time now. Like, come on, come up with something new for once. However, the landlord did appear a bit too friendly. Yup.
I paid him $2,000. What I went to do is get my lights cut on, and they told me that the place that I was trying to rent wasn't even rentable. Therefore, I'm driving around in a U-Haul with no place to go. I come across the landlord, and I tell him I have no money. I just gave my $2,000 to a landlord that was crooked, and I can't even move in the house.
I guess Miss Winslow had enough of the plaintiff slinging mud on her left and right. And about time. Even my patience ran thin with this fella. She finally enlightened the court about what she thought the guy's real problem was.
So when he finally saw the landlord, he was like, oh, I thought the landlord was old. When he found out he was around our age, that's when his insecurities came in.
I came home one time, I just popped up, right? I pop up one time, they crossing the street. I think the dude a stranger, cause I ain't never met him yet. And so they walking across the street, and I'm like, yo, I approached all of them. Hey, what y'all doing with this stranger?
Well, the court got adjourned for a bit. However, after a while, Judge Lake continued on with the proceedings. The twist was that instead of the paternity doubt, she had to resolve the maternity doubt first. Yup.
These results state that the probability of maternity is 99.9999%. You, Ms. Winslow, are Jabril's mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I needed to hear, Your Honor.
And I can see you're truly relieved.
Mr. Barlow was off his hinges. Get real, dude. And on top of that, he started picking on the 11-month-old baby Jabril, who called him Dada. Bad move. By now, even Judge Lake has had enough talk about the rent, the landlord, and everything in between. Nothing made sense for the baby daddy, and the only thing that could have been were the results. Time for them to roll on out.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, the bottom line is you are the mother and you are the father.
A happy home, all of rainbows and sunshine, but it all came tumbling down when the defendant demanded the paternity test from the plaintiff, This wasn't the first time for Mr. Bolton, and he refused to fall for the same trap again.
Ms. Beto, you say you were furious when the defendant asked you for a DNA test on your 7-month-old daughter, Ileana. Now you claim that request has broken up your happy home. Mr. Bolton, you state you have reason to believe Ms. Beto's child may not be your biological daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Odd claims, right? But how did the paternity doubt come to be? Well, it was one long story. Now don't you worry, we're not gonna bore you. But to sum it up, the baby daddy started doubting the baby soon after she was delivered and was handed to him. You know, because of looks.
The doctor that gave the procedure to deliver the baby, he handed me the baby and he looked at me. He said, "Are you sure this baby's yours?" And I looked at the doctor. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because this baby's white." I'm looking at him like, "What do you mean this baby's white?"
Jerome, have you ever heard of such?
That's a first for me.
This is the reason.
Some doctor, huh? Moving on, Miss Beto rushed to clarify, but the damage had been done. The doubt took root. However, Mommy hadn't raised a quitter. Nope, she planned to fight it out and brought out the big guns.
I'm Dominican and black. People in my family have different color eyes. My eyes are hazel. My father's eyes are green. He told me that when he was a young boy, when he was a baby, as a matter of fact, his eyes were blue and then they turned green. So I don't see where the doubt is. The doubt began because people continuously said, "Oh, she's white. Oh my God, she's so white. Oh, she's so white."
Let the he said, she said battle commence. Baby Ileana was brought home. Friends and family visited, and they all went goo-goo over the baby. Aw, good. But that's not exactly how it all went down.
We had friends and family come over to see the baby, then looking at the baby like, "Oh, she's beautiful, she's beautiful."
That's not what they said, Your Honor. What they were saying, maybe on his side, but my side, they did make some comments. But of course, I defended. That's my daughter, you know?
Yeah.
So I see him all the time in her. I see a little bit of my features, but mostly I see him.
The drama didn't end there. Nope, it went on. Seems like the baby had a lot of visitors, and each one had something to say. And with that, the doubt just got rooted deep in Mr. Bolton's head.
Maybe 2 weeks when Ileana came home, the same boss that we worked for, we both worked for him, he came to the house and brought a stroller to the home as a gift. And he's from Alabama, he's country guy, But he looked at the baby, and he's like, "Rico, is this baby yours?" I look at him like, "What you mean?" He says, "This baby's white."
The defendant sure talks, and had a lot to share. Interestingly enough, there had been more than 2 instances in his life where he ended up doubting paternity. A happening life for sure, but a lot of baggage indeed. See for yourself.
When I was young, I was dating a stripper, and she had a baby. She disappeared. What reason, I don't know, but when she finally came back, we figured out that baby wasn't mine. Got my name off the birth certificate, finally. Second time this has happened in my life, a young lady got pregnant, but come to find out, she was dealing with somebody that I knew. She didn't know we knew each other.
Hold on, people. Don't go believing that baby daddy was the victim. Nope. Allow me to do the honors of presenting how he ended up being your typical dumb guy. Oh yeah, he had some nerve to justify his behavior.
Now,
I saw
my
the texts
association
from the females.
being with them, I'm getting accused daily. So it's like I felt like I was pressured, getting pushed to the point where I should cheat just to make you happy. Because this is what you're doing, you putting pressure on me.
That was your logic?
Yes, that was my logic, because every day she's saying, "Hey, you're a cheater, you're a cheater."
Baby mama sure liked making things messier. No should have taken the high road here. Initially, Miss Beto left the guy on admirable grounds, but she couldn't stay away for long. What a shame!
This is when she's admitting that, yeah, I slept with somebody.
Your Honor.
Because at first she says it's none of my business when I went to go see her.
Exactly.
Now she's telling me out of her mouth, okay,
Your
this
Honor,
is what happened.
he continues to
We
badger
together.
me about it.
She's admitted in open court that she slept with someone else one time at least without protection.
Right.
Well, when nothing seems to be working, go snooping around your girl's phone. There's gotta be something there. And bingo, baby daddy found it. Some incriminating evidence. Hard to justify that one.
I mean, but how often is it that babies can look alike?
But Your Honor, I just want to show you this evidence right here.
But I don't think she looks like the other man's baby.
That's Ileana, and that's me. Ileana's pink, Caucasian, white, and you see me.
Really?
I'm brown, no blue eyes. I mean, the only thing I see is a nose.
It was clear that day that nothing was gonna push the paternity doubt out of baby daddy's head. Only the DNA result had that power. Mommy and daddy both were miserable over this. So let's just get right to it.
Mr. Bolton, you are her father.
¿Qué yo dice? What I tell you?
Your Honor, can I ask Ms. Beto a question?
Yes, you may.
You don't got no questions for me.
Everything speaks for itself, because that's what you told me. Actions.
Mr. Johnson came to the court to clear his name and wash his hands of the child. Classic. Miss Kirby, on the other hand, was adamant that the plaintiff helped make that bundle of joy that was little Caden, and results were gonna prove it.
Mr. Johnson, you are here to prove you are not the biological father of Miss Kirby's 11-month-old son, Caden. You claim her accusations are causing trouble in your relationship, and you are certain the results will clear your name. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Things took an emotional turn. Baby mama's heart was crying for her baby, but the baby daddy was one cold-hearted man. Jerk dad! While the court swam in the emotions that poured out of the mother, Mr. Johnson just wanted to get this whole thing over with.
He told me when we first met that I was going to be his baby mama. Now that he's here, he don't want to step up. Either he step up or he step down.
Excuse me,
Why do you
Your
have
Honor.
tears in your eyes?
My baby.
Yes, I told her that she was gonna be my baby mama, but it was just talk. It was nothing like that. We only had sex. That was it.
Abandonment issue alert. Plaintiff claimed he would never do such a thing after being abandoned by his father. But hadn't he already abandoned this child? Oh, the irony! And when nothing else worked, Mr. Johnson played the age-old trick.
I would never do that because I made bad decisions.
You not taking care of Caden?
Because
Clearly
it's
you
not
are.
mine. It ain't my baby. That baby don't look nothing like me.
I'm like, he like. So what's your point?
Your Honor, I just had
Yes.
a child and the baby looks nothing like Caden. My baby looks like me.
Who knew a drive to the store in the middle of a blackout would end up in the paternity court? Well, it happened. Keeping it PG, the guy managed to give a play-by-play of the conversation between them that started it all.
How she'll do when she in the bed with a man. That's what she was talking about.
That don't mean I was trying to lay down with you.
Yes, you were. So why did we exchange numbers? And
Because
then
I liked
the
you.
next
I liked
day
you when I
we
first
had
met
Miss
sex.
Kirby, you just get in the car, riding to the store, and just talking about what you gonna do in the bed? That's your
No,
conversation?
No, Your Honor.
Turns out one guy was too little too few for this woman. Oh, she had her cake and ate it too. Mr. Johnson was just waiting to drop bombs of truth in the court against the claim of the defendant.
She was like, well, I'm single, but I'm having sex with this dude also. And plus, he was staying the night at her apartment.
So is that true, Miss Kirby? Were you having a guy spend the night over during the
Yes.
time that you started
Yes,
having?
I was.
Okay.
Because he knew from the jump that I was sexual dealing with someone.
Shedding light on how baby daddy got the news of a lifetime, he got a woman pregnant. However, there was a certain twist to it. Yup, nothing seemed to be simple with these people.
I was at this party and I was scrolling on social media and I seen her post something about she don't need help with her child. So I hit her up. I was like, are you pregnant? She was like, yeah. So I'm like, is the baby mine? She was like, no. I left the party and then she flipped the script and was saying, well, yes, you are the father.
Bring out that conception calendar. Miss Kirby took it a step further. She'd done her math and knew the exact date she had been involved in the extracurricular activities with Mr. Johnson and the other guy. But wait, check this out.
You determined that was during the time when you were sexually active with Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought you slept with him within a 24-hour window of meeting him, and you also were in a sexual relationship with the other man.
Me and him had sex July 10th on our way when we got back from Clarksville.
Oh, so you're basing this on the exact date of sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let another round of varied narratives commence. While mommy claimed she only had her family through the whole ordeal, from pregnancy to birth, baby daddy didn't buy that story and ended up sharing his own. Judge Lake had a good time with that one.
I wasn't there because she didn't want me to be there. The only time she called me was for sex and food.
You a lie.
That's the only time, Your Honor.
You wouldn't even buy a $5 box of chicken from Church's.
I was taking you to Burger King and going to Kroger grocery shopping.
Carrying a baby and then birthing a baby was already a big deal. However, the after part hadn't been a smooth sail either, for mommy or the baby. Turns out, that was what prompted Miss Kirby to contact the plaintiff for support.
I didn't even know that this child was albino, and plus, no one's in my family albino. Has no trait of it.
So you feel like since you've never heard of this, it's not in your family, that Caden couldn't possibly be your child. That's another area of doubt for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
The baby daddy had doubted paternity long enough. Be it a cheating doubt or albinism, it wasn't fair to baby Caden to be any more miserable over this whole ordeal. Time to show those results.
Mr. Johnson, you are the father. Congratulations are in order again. That's your beautiful little boy.
I mean, Your Honor, like I said, I'm the father of this child, and I'm gonna step up.